Hey YouTube, today we're going to be comparing two different Smith& Wesson revolvers. But before I get started, I'm going to pick these revolvers up and show you there's nothing in them and that we are clear to make this video. So what are we going to compare today? We're going to compare a couple K-frame Smith& Wesson revolvers, and the one on top here is a Model 19-3 and the one on the bottom here is a Model 66-2. Now, I've had the Model 66-2 here for a long time, and I always wanted to get, and I've never ran into one out in the wild that really suited my fancy. I haven't looked aggressively enough, I guess, but I always wanted a Model 19 to go right next to it. And I recently acquired this Model 19, and I actually wanted a 4-inch one just like this Model 66 right here, but this one fell into my lap, and the more that I sit there and look at it and play with it, the more it's really starting to grow on me in the 6-inch length. I never had a problem with 6-inch revolvers. I just prefer the look of the 4-inch revolvers a little bit more, but maybe my mind's changed a little bit here on this Smith & Wesson Model 19. So we're going to pick this Smith & Wesson Model 19 up. We're going to talk a little bit about it. I'm going to tell you some of the differences that I see right off the bat between these two. Now, this Model 19 was introduced in 1957, and what it was an alternative to the Model 27, or the very original one was called the Registered Magnum, which was Smith & Wesson's large end frame. It was the largest frame that Smith & Wesson made at the time. They developed that in the 1920s because of the 357 Magnum, the amount of pressure that the cartridge puts out when it's discharged, and it needed a very large frame, to withstand those type of pressures. Well, law enforcement started complaining a little bit, and they wanted something a little bit lighter that would still fire the 357 Magnum, and this little jewel here was born, this Model 19. So this is a K-frame. It's much smaller than the actual end frame that was the original 357 Magnum. This particular gun here was made in the mid-70s. This was made in 1976, and this being a -3 model, they made changes in Smith & Wesson every single year, and they added a dash to the model number, and these were produced between 1967 and 1976. And this particular one, I've been told by a viewer, was made in 1976. So it was made towards the end of the run of this -3 variant. These Model 66s were the stainless version of the Model 19. They're a little bit more durable because they don't have a finish that will wear off of it or anything like that. The Model 66 was introduced in 1971, and this particular variant was made somewhere between the years of 1982 and 1985. I do not know the exact year. I've never looked it up or anything, but anybody wants to look up this Model 66, if you can see the serial number on it, feel free to look it up. I'll try and get as close here as I can to show you the serial number, but it is a 66-2 made in the mid-80s. So I always like the stainless versions of these guns. They're a lot more durable. They're a lot more forgiving if they get scratched or anything like that. But what I wanted to do is show you two pretty much identical guns, one in blue and one in stainless, and show you some a little bit differences of the two examples that I have here, because they're from a little bit different time eras. They got a little bit different stuff going on them, so there are a few differences. So we'll start off and we'll pick this Model 19 up, and I'll show you some of the stuff that is featured on this gun. So it does have target grips on them, but all it has is this little indentation here for like a speed loader or something like that. And if you look at my Model 66, it has an actual cutout on the grips for an actual speed loader. When you go to stick speed loaders in, it has like a relief there so you can load the speed loaders. On the other side, of course, it doesn't have that because you do not speed load from this side, and the same with the Model 19. You look at the grip on the other side, it's identical to the Model 66, but this side here, it just has a little relief, and the Model 66 has a cutout. So that's the first difference that you notice on them. Now, when you start looking at stuff like this hammer here, on my Model 66 right here, it's got a very wide target hammer on it. I mean, it is absolutely really wide, and it's knurled on top, and you can reach it very easily with your thumb. I really like this hammer on this. On the Model 19, not so much. It's not nearly as big and defined, and it is knurled on top, and it's not nearly as wide as the one on the Model 66 that I have here. And I understand they make these guns in all different kinds of options and variations, and I'm not a Smith and Wesson expert, so I can't tell you the years or what options were available. I'm just going to show you the differences in these two, and if you hold these side by side, you can see the significant difference in the size of the hammer on the 66-2 versus the Model 19-3. It's very defined on this one. So it's going to be a little bit longer also here, so it's a lot easier to reach with your thumb when you're firing this gun. And on this one, it's not hard to reach, but it's a little bit harder to reach than the very large target hammer that's on the Model 66. The next difference that I've noticed when I looked at them side by side is going to be the triggers on them. If you'll notice this Model 19, it has serrations on the front, but it's not nearly as wide as the Model 66 that I have right here. And I'm going to pick this one up and show you it has a really wide, what I call a target hammer on them. I mean, it's got serrations on them, but it's almost twice as wide as the Model 19. And I'm going to try and show them to you side by side so you can see the difference in size, and it is quite significant, the width of the trigger. So I believe this is called the 3 T's. It has the target grips, target trigger, and target hammer on them, and this one does not. So I guess this would not be a 3T gun. So the next difference that I noticed is this one's got a pin barrel on it. So this is one of the things that Smith and Wesson collectors like to brag that they have, is their revolver has a pin barrel. So the barrel is pinned in place with this pin on top. And on my Model 66, this is 66-2, that's one of the changes they made, is they eliminated the pin barrel. So this one does not have a pin on it. One of the other differences is a lot of people look for in the older Smith and Wesson revolvers is a recessed cylinder. So when you open the cylinder up, if you look real close here, the actual cylinder is recessed. When you load the cartridges in them, they sit flush in the cylinder, and when you close the revolver, you cannot see the cartridges on the side. On the 66-2 here, it does not have a recessed cylinder, so when you load these cartridges in, you can see the end of the cartridges when you stick them in there. To be quite honest with you, I don't know what the advantage of having a recessed cylinder in a revolver is, but I know a lot of Smith and Wesson people, they really seek out the ones with the recessed cylinders, and this one does have that. They also seek out the pin barrel, and I really don't understand why that is so important. I do see a little bit different. I mean, I do see a little bit more meaning to a pin barrel than I do recessed cylinders. Maybe it keeps it from walking or turning in and out, having that pin drove through there without this one. But revolvers have survived for many years without having pin barrels on them. So I really don't see that as a deal breaker to me. The one thing that I do like the most, the big difference is the hammer. So I do like this big old target hammer on the on this revolver more than I do the Model 19. I just think it fits my hand like a lot better, and it's a lot easier to operate. This has got a hammer very similar to like a Colt Python. It has a very large spur hammer on them, and I really dig that. Now, some of the other stuff that you'll look at on this particular one has a red ramp front sight on it, and this one here has a little bit different type of sight on it. I can't think what they're called, but it's just a black sight. If you look at the sights side by side, they are completely different. The one on the bottom, I would call it more of a target sight with the red ramp on them, and they are quite significantly different shapes and sizes, and the 66 is marked with the red. The rear sights are almost identical if you look at them, except for on the 66, it does have a white outline, which I really like. With my eyesight, I can pick up those white outlines with the red ramp a lot better. So I would say that I prefer the sights on the 66 here over the Model 19. Now, when I first got this Model 19 a couple of weeks ago, it had a very hard you know, very, very heavy trigger pull on it, just like all Smith and Wesson revolvers do. You notice that when you get them right out of the box, they do need a little bit of massaging to get them to be up to par, you know, up to par in my standards and all that. And since then, it's had an action job done on it, and it is just as smooth as the 66 here. I mean, it is probably about a 7-pound pull on them, about equally to this this Model 66. It's a real smooth, real light double action pull on it. But basically, they're pretty close, identical guns, you know, in size and shape. They're both K-frames, this one just being in stainless and this one being in the blued. And I figured I'd give you some comparisons and see which one you prefer. Do you like the blued finish better on the Smith & Wessons, or do you like the stainless version better? Do you like the 6-inch longer ones, or do you like the 4-inch more compact ones? These are always called the combat magnums, and I think more of a combat gun is, not that you're going to combat with the revolver at all, but I would think of that to be the shorter frame one if I was to go the combat. But very nice revolvers. Smith & Wesson were at the top of their game when they made these ones before they started putting those locks on them and using all the mem parts on the inside of them. The quality control seemed to be a lot better when they made these in the old days. But anyway, folks, let me know what you think about this model, Smith & Wesson Model 19 and this Smith & Wesson Model 66. Which one you prefer? I'd love to hear from you. And thank you very much for watching my video today. And you folks have a great day.